Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to My Outdoors. Here in this video, this is kind of early February 2018 here in western Pennsylvania. It's kind of cold outside, got a lot of snow recently, and the lakes are frozen. I don't do any ice fishing, just the kayak fishing, so by the time I get a hole chopped out big enough for my kayak, I'm too tired to do any fishing. So what I'm doing at this time is I'm kind of taking stock and reviewing what I've got and the gear I've got, and to try and reorganize a little bit, review, and see what I've got here, what I need to change or modify. I'll go through some of my things. Hopefully I won't find anything dead in here. Doesn't seem to smell too bad, but we'll see. So stay tuned and I'll show you what I have here. These are the primary components of my fishing gear setup for kayak fishing, and I'll just go over these briefly here, and I'll cover each one of these in more detail later on in the video. First thing I have is my PFD, personal flotation device. You might consider that to be a kayak accessory because it's required to have that. This has a lot of pockets, D-rings, and other loops and stuff where you're going to attach a lot of fishing accessories. Next is where I have my milk crate, and this milk crate's a little bit different because it's 19 inches long instead of whatever the 12 or 13 that they typically have. And that's to fit my particular fishing tackle bag. Also, as in my video on the kayak modifications that I made, I've got these rod holders here, can hold my fishing net. Put this on for my anchor. Then also I have a pair of gloves for paddling, because if you're paddling any distance you can get blisters on your hands, so you want to have some gloves to protect your hands from that. I have these fish grips for gripping the fish, and I checked out the weight on these so I can get a fish hooked into this, and I've got 4.3 ounces that this weighs, so then I can subtract that. If I hook a fish on there and then hang it on there to weigh it, I'll know that the weight I've got, subtract 4 ounces for the weight of the fish grips. Nothing real critical. Also, I've got my porta potty in case I need to go, or if a bathroom's not readily available somewhere on the shore. Also, I have some floaters for my glasses. I've got these for, I think I use these on my eyeglasses, and then I use the other ones on my sunglasses that go over these. I tried these out in a 5-gallon bucket and dropped them in there. They float pretty good. Works pretty good. So then on this box here, this is the one that attaches to the front hatch of my kayak. And I've got a bag here with some accessories. Usually I got my fish scale inside of this. Got all this stuff leashed so it doesn't go anywhere. And besides having this velcroed onto that hatch, I'm also going to put a leash on this to a little tie that I've got just in front of where this sits, that also leashes my paddle for me too, so that if something happens, I go overboard, this could come loose and who knows where it's going to go, bottom of the lake maybe. So I've got it leashed, and then all these things here will all still stay with the kayak. So in this box here, of course I got a leash on it also, and in this I've got my basic fishing supplies that I need for the fish species that I'm fishing for at the time. I might want to carry some extra stuff just in case you catch something a little bit bigger than you were expecting, and that happens. So also I have a headlight assembly for if I'm coming in and it's dusk out or even darker, I can see where I'm going, find my way back to shore or my launch site. Also got this bag here. It's a waterproof bag. This works really good for keeping the things dry, keep my wallet and so forth in there, anything that I don't want to get wet. And what came with that, and this works pretty well, is this bag here for my smartphone. And I tested this. I put a tissue inside of this, dunked it into a 5-gallon pail, and just let it sit there for about, I don't know, half hour or something like that. Took it back out and the tissue was perfectly dry, so it works good. I imagine that use and abuse over time, it's going to lose its ability to keep dry, so I might want to check it once in a while with the tissue just to make sure it's still keeping dry. And I would imagine once every year or two, probably need to replace that. That's pretty much it for this stuff, so now I'll get into the details of each of these things. Got another thing here is that, while this all seems like a lot, nowhere near as much as what I used to carry in my boat. I came from Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes, and did a lot of fishing. I've got probably 50-some years of fishing in from my time in Minnesota. This is a lot less than what I ever used to carry on a boat, but still, I would still like to lighten this load up a little bit more and have less to it, because there's other gear for the kayak that I'm carrying also, such as the anchor and some other items that I'll show you. Hey, I'll move on here and show you these things. My usual outfit for kayaking is made up of light swim trunks with some pockets in them, a t-shirt or a tank top, and water shoes. I want it all to be light and easy to swim in should I need to. Now the tank top holds less water than a typical t-shirt, and it's cooler in hot weather. In cooler weather, there are other outfits to keep you warm, yet not weigh you down should you go overboard. Now these swim trunks are lightweight, and they've got the mesh on the inside for swimming and so forth, so they shed water very well. And should you have to go overboard, you need to be able to swim without being weighed down by a lot of fabric. These ones I've got here have pockets in them. This particular pair has a lot of zippered pockets in them, and I like those best because, well, more gear, but then again, hopefully I don't carry enough that makes me sink to the bottom. And the nice thing about this mesh inside the swim trunks is you don't have to wear underwear inside them. You get the support that you need, and that sheds water a lot more easily for you. Now I have tried these water shoes, and I like these best. They basically cover my entire foot and give me good protection. I tried these sandals, but I found out that sand and gravel gets between my toes and the sole of the shoe, and that gets to be very uncomfortable. Now as for my PFD, this is my NRS Chinook Meshback Fishing PFD. I got this on Amazon for about $110, and I'll put a link below for this. Now this one is an XXL size, and Amazon has these available in many sizes. You want to be sure that you get a PFD that is the right size for you, because your life may depend on it. Always wear a PFD when you're out on the water. I put my PFD on, and then I cinch down the straps. I'll show you how I do that. I have the straps, fairly loose on the sides here, so it makes it easy for me to get this on and zip it up. I can pull it down to where it should be. Then I can cinch up the final straps on the bottoms, on the sides here and the bottom. And getting the bottom one the tightest is what really counts, because that's what's going to keep it around your waist. Because once you have this on, you want it to be able to keep your head above water. So you don't want this to be able to rise above your head. Now this one has 7 pockets and a lot of loops, tabs, Velcro straps, and D-rings. Now I'll go through what I have in my pockets here, but what I have is an ever-evolving arrangement. I'm constantly changing things up. So, got one pocket here, which don't have anything in, but it's got a cord and a clip I can attach things to. This next pocket, this one's a Velcro strap, and this is the one I've got my whistle in. Very loud whistle for when you're out there. When you're out on a kayak, I think the law requires that you have a whistle. It's very loud. Next pocket down here, this one unzips. At the time, I don't have anything in it. But you can carry, small organizers or plastic things for organizing your tackle gear and stuff. On this pocket, on the front of that, I have, it's like a fingernail clipper for trimming lines and for doing some other things. It's made for fishing. Then I've also got these fishing pliers made out of stainless steel, and line cutters, lead weight crimpers, and so forth. I've got a Velcro strap, got lots of hooks and loops and D-rings and everything else here. Here's a couple of pockets that expand out. Can hold a lot of things on these. Then in this pocket here, what some people do, Depends on what you meet up with out there and some of the critters you might run into. I got a 9mm in here. So that's about it for this. And the back on this is high enough so it sits above your seat back in the kayak. Your seat back comes up to about midway in your back, and the back of this is above that, so that's a good deal. So this can hold a lot of fishing gear, but don't weigh yourself down to the bottom of the lake. Try and keep it light. Adjust the many straps and keep it from slipping above your head. You should be able to lift the shoulders up without going above your head. If you become unconscious for any reason, you want to keep your head above water so you're able to breathe. Your life's going to depend on that. So the next topic up here now is my milk crate. Okay, this is about my milk crate. I got the 19 by 13 by 11 inch crate from Amazon. I'll put a link to that below. Now this is a little more pricey as it's not a commonly available size. So I bought a couple of these just in case and to get more value out of the shipping charges. Now this fits my tackle bag very well. I did find that my tackle bag snags on a corner of it due to a pop rivet protrusion inside the crate. So that affects two corners of my milk crate and depending on which way I set my tackle bag in. So I hang it up. If I turn it around, got the same kind of thing, and it catches on the other corner also. So the offending pop rivets hold the J hooks that I've got on the outside here, which are used with the bungee cord to hold the crate into my kayak. In case I go over, my my crate is going to stay with my kayak. But I have a simple solution. I will move the J hooks on these two corners that I need to an outer extreme as far as I can. I've got some room to do that. So I'll move them out to the furthest point, and that will take the pop rivet out of harm's way. So I'll show you how I fix this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my drill, a 3/16 bit, which is the size hole I need for the pop rivet anyway. I'm going to drill out this old rivet that I need to remove, and I'll replace this one and the one on the other opposing corner from this one, what we call kitty corner from this. Okay, I've got that out. Got my J-hook. Now, what I'm going to do is to relocate this over as far as I can and do a new hole there and mount it there. So I'm going to get a start. So I've got a good location. Now, I will use my pop rivet gun here. Put this pop rivet into there. Push it in so it fits in there. Press on this so it's fully seated. And just start squeezing this, making sure I keep this aligned here. So it pops, and now it's secure. And I'll do the same thing with the other pop rivet kitty corner from this, and that'll fix my issue with my bag hanging up on that. Okay, now that that's fixed, my bag goes in and out pretty easily. It doesn't snag or hang up anymore. What I also have on my crate are these rod holders I put on, and this holder for my anchor. You can see my video on my kayak modifications, and I'll put a link to that below. Next up, I'm going to give you a tour of my fishing tackle bag. Okay, now, so this is about my fishing tackle bag. I bought this bag at Walmart a few years ago, before I ever thought I would be doing any kayak fishing. This bag measures 19 inches long, therefore that's why I've got that long milk crate on my kayak. Then it's 12 inches wide, and then 10 inches tall. So this one is a brand name called Real Tree, and it's an XXL. It came with 4 plastic lidded organizers inside the main compartment here. And I don't know that Walmart stocks this anymore. I didn't find it in the store nor on their website. However, a close match is available on Amazon at the link I will put below. This Amazon one seems to offer more for about the same price I paid at Walmart. Maybe I didn't get such a good deal after all. Now I'll go through what I have in this bag, and this is an ever-changing process, so over time I'm probably going to be changing some things up and doing some things differently, taking things out, adding things in, so forth. This bag comes with the shoulder strap. It's a pretty nice strap. It's pretty comfortable. Got it adjusted to my size. Then it's got these open web compartments on both ends here for keeping some things. This one is empty. This one I've got some instructions for my fish finder and a knife sharpener for when I'm out there. Then inside this end pocket I have a first aid kit and this light, which has got a compass on the top of it. How good that's going to work, I don't know. This is all plastic. It's got a hook on top here to hang it on things, and then the light goes on with the button. It lights up fairly well, so, but I don't like to be out on the lake in the dark anyways. On the other end here, this mesh pocket is empty. Inside this zippered pocket, I've got some shopping bags from like Walmart and so forth for putting my trash and stuff in. On the very back, it's got another large mesh pocket that has a Velcro to hold it partially closed. Then, in the front, there's a few pockets here. Let's see. Start out with this one. It's a smaller lower pocket. The only thing I got in here is a little bit of fish line for kind of a utility purposes. And this larger pocket here, which kind of folds down, I've got some bug spray, sunscreen, and a like a woodsman saw if you need to cut down or do anything while you're out there. In this pocket I've got my stringer and some instructions on my portable digital scale for weighing the fish that I catch. And it's got a little Velcro strap here, hold some things, so that's all I got in that pocket. Like I said, this is a ever-evolving process. Now, in the main compartment up here, inside the lid here is a clear pocket, and inside that I've got the Pennsylvania fishing law information, and I've got a spare holder for my fishing license. Pennsylvania, we're required to have this like on our shirt or on our hat so the game warden can see it from a distance. Then in this compartment up here, actually there's 4 of these organizer boxes that came with this. I'm just using 2 of them because I'm just using it for panfish and bass. So I'll go through these. Now this one is the bass one. And I've got this snail hook holder. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all these things. Here's a Rapala lure that's kind of jointed so it wiggles. I've got a couple of these spinner baits, one in white, one in black. Got a hound dog lure retriever in case your lure gets hung up on a log or something somewhere. It's supposed to be very helpful for removing your lure and getting it back. Some instructions on how to use some of these baits and tying knots, and then these are power baits that are apparently flavored to attract the fish. And you'll put these onto these various jigs and setups. Then I've got some lead weights, a couple of jigs, another one here in another bag, and these are some of different colors. I've got some jig heads and another one of these lures. This one is a solid piece, it's not jointed, so other than that, some of these dividers for these organizers. That's it for this one. This one is for my panfish. And in this, I've got some swivel connectors, some small hooks for various types of fish, small pocket knife, some crimp-on lead weights, some more flavored jigs, and some jig heads to put them on. Then assortment of bobbers if I decide I want to fish with minnows or worms. So that's pretty much it for this. And what I have in this particular tackle bag. Like I said, over time I'm sure this will change up, and perhaps once a year I'll do kind of a update and give you a tour of my fishing tackle bag. See what I come up with next. Well, as you can probably tell by my fishing tackle setup here, I primarily fish freshwater. I've never really done saltwater fishing at all. And so I'm set up for that. I always fished in Minnesota for 40-some years. And in the past couple of years, I've moved to Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania here. And I'm kind of resetting up what I got, because I got rid of all my stuff I had before, my boat and all that in Minnesota. Moved to Pennsylvania here, and then a couple of years ago I decided, well, I'm going to get into fishing again. So kind of resetting myself up here again. And another thing I noticed when I went through this is I had these instructions kind of scattered about in different places in my bag. So I decided to put them all into one like quart size Ziploc bag and put them all inside that clear cover inside the top here. So that'll be better organized that way. So next up, I'm going to go through some of the other accessories that I have in the kayak with me. Well, another thing I wanted to show you is when I put my bag inside the milk crate. Fits in there nicely now that I fixed those rivets. In case I do flip over, I usually keep these bungee cords crisscross across the top of this. That'll keep my bag in there from falling out if I go over. So like I say, everything you got on your kayak, you got to keep it leashed, or else you'll lose it. So leash it or lose it. Okay, moving on here and showing you some more of the fishing gear that I've got on my kayak with me. Not necessarily in my fishing tackle bag, but one of the important things is having a hat. And this is a brim hat, has a brim all the way around it. As like I mentioned, I have my fishing license on the front here in Pennsylvania. We're required to have that on our hat or on our shirt so the game warden can see it from a distance. This hat has, ventilation on both sides to keep you cool, because, as I learned in the military, most of the heat that escapes your body escapes from the top of your head. So when it's cold weather, then you want to have a hat on that doesn't ventilate very much so you can keep the heat in your body. Anyways, for fishing, if it's hot summer out, we want to be able to ventilate the heat off our heads to avoid sunstroke. Now this particular hat has a cord stop back here. It's kind of an elastic paracord, and the cord stop adjusts up and down so I can adjust the fit, how tight it fits around my head. Also, it has this cord here that I can use to fit around my chin. If I got a windy day, it won't blow away on me. Oftentimes I'll just kind of leave it in there when I put it on. The other thing is I've got this kind of like a pocket inside here, and this has a part that drapes down to cover the back of my neck so I can avoid getting sunburn in the back of my neck. And this just kind of rolls up and tucks back into this pocket here. So that's very convenient to have. So I'll put on it and wear my hat like this and do my fishing and have lots of protection from the sun, and the warden can see I've got my license. Next up, some of the other containers I've got. I bought a bunch of these watertight containers, and wound up duplicating a couple of them. They're both the same size, and got this slimmer one here for my telephone, for my cell phone. They're great, work very well, and you can leash them up on something and keep your things dry. I was doing that with my wallet and stuff, but as I'll show you coming up here, I found some other things that work even better than that. I got this watertight bag that I got on Amazon, and I'll put the link below for that. And it's like a Ziploc bag in here. It has like a double track to it. Really keeps your things dry. You put your stuff in there, like my wallet and so forth, things I want to keep dry. Then I'll kind of wrap it up, put the Ziploc, get that cinched down, and then I can roll this up a bit, and then click this over, and then leash this, and this will keep things dry for me. What came with this as part of the kit, I'll put a link below for this on Amazon, is I got this phone case also. And I tried this out. I put a piece of tissue on this and sunk it into a 5-gallon pail, weighted it down so it would be underneath the water, and it kept the tissue dry. You want to probably test this periodically to make sure, because with wear and tear and time, this is going to eventually wear out a bit. A couple of levers pop up here, then you can open it up, stick your phone inside there, get it sealed back again, levers up, and seal them back down. What I found out that this actually works really well, because I can still use my phone and do things, and I can talk, and it picks up my sound through this also, and I can take pictures and so forth too. So it really works really great. And of course it's got a cord and has this cord stop that makes it tight, so you can tighten it up around your neck so you won't lose it if you go overboard. That's really a great feature. It was part of this waterproof bag kit. Okay, next up I've got some of these gloves that I use, and I love these gloves. It's got a pad right here that you can use for a lot of different purposes, maybe wiping the sweat off your brow, or cleaning the lens on a camera, something like that. And these will work great for me when I'm paddling, and it'll keep me from getting blisters on my hands, especially if I'm paddling from one end of the lake to the other. So those are great. And I'll put a link below for these on Amazon. I got the fish lip grips that I can bring a fish in, get it close to the boat, and I can get the fish up, pull them up out. Then I weighed these in at 4.3 ounces. So when I go to weigh my fish, I can just leave them hooked on there, put them on my digital scale here, and I know whatever weight I've got on my scale here, I'll just subtract 4 ounces. Then I'll know what my fish weighs. This digital scale here, I picked this up at Walmart. Works very well. Another item, of course, is a headlamp that I got. If I'm coming in, if it's dusk or even dark out, I can use this so I can see where I'm going, so I can find my launch site or my shore. And this has, it's all adjustable, and also, this angle is adjustable. And the button here gives me a bunch of different settings for the light I want to see. It can give me a really broad lighting or a narrow focus. Then I have a couple of eyeglass floaters. I use these for my glasses, and also I use some sunglasses that fit over these, so I've got another one of these to fit those too. Should I go overboard and my glasses come off, they'll be floating around and I'll find them somewhere. Another item is a porta potty. In case you don't have a bathroom facility out there, you've got this for emergencies, so you can get relief. Then of course I've got my tray that, as you see in my video on my kayak modifications, I have a lot of things attached in here, scissors, a lot of things on leashes. And also I'm going to put this tray on a leash to the kayak itself, so because everything comes out and it could be all over the place. And usually I keep my fish scale inside of this bag. when I'm out on the lake. Keep things handy and nearby. Another item is I've got my most immediate fishing tackle in this box, and I keep this kind of close to me up front instead of in the fishing tackle bag behind me. And I just got this, I got this looped on here. Pop two opens, pop the front one open. Now in this one here, it's kind of got these slots on all of these where you can attach the cord. But thing is once you open this cord can come loose and kind of get disconnected from it. So what I did is I drilled a little bit of a hole through this to put this through, and then a knot on the other side. And that's a lot more secure and still stays there even when these are open. So in here I've got a real compass, a cigarette lighter for making fires, a tactical flashlight for various needs, a fish hook sharpener. It's a simple little deal for sharpening up the tips of your fish hooks. A Buck Brothers tool, multi-tool with all the different things in it. You see these in brands called Leatherman also. A few zip ties, small zip ties, some jig heads and jig bodies for the pan fishing. A few other, I guess, jig bodies. Another small stringer for the panfish, that's small. So this is what's most immediately available to me in front of me as I'm out fishing, especially for panfish and stuff. So keep this tied up here. Just loop that around a few times and stays pretty well, and that's what serves as my leash to keep it attached to my kayak. And last but not least, perhaps, is my fish net, and it's got a handle on it, kind of a stretchy cord. I have to figure out some way of maybe putting a leash on it to make sure it stays attached. I usually set this down in the rod holder in my crate behind me with all the other rod holders. So that's kind of pretty much it for all the accessories I've got for my fishing gear on my kayak. So I hope you found this helpful. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you got some good ideas and inspiration for your fishing setup. If you did, please give me a like and share it with your family, friends, and fellow outdoors persons. Also, I really appreciate all your comments and ideas. I get a lot of great ideas from you. Be sure to subscribe to see what I may come up with next, and be sure to hit that bell icon so you won't miss out on anything. Thank you.